Thank you, veterans. Chapter 8 Planning Session. Annabelle and Caitlin were really starting to enjoy the drama club. They both had fun doing the improvisations. I can't believe Victoria actually came back, said Caitlin. I thought she was gone forever. I actually had a little talk with her after school. I felt so bad that she stormed out of class the other day. I really thought that she should give it a second chance, Annabelle explained. I know you must have worked your magic on her. She seemed pleasant today and was easy to get along with. Her attitude wasn't too bad either, Caitlin said. All Victoria needed was a little hug and to feel loved. Mrs. Phillips certainly gave her that today. I think Victoria really likes to be included in activities, Annabel decided. She also loves being put on the spot so she can display her talent, which is exactly what Mrs. Phillips did. I hope this is the start of many more good days for Victoria, Caitlin said. She was a totally different person today. Whatever you did was a blessing to her. Keep up the good work, Annabelle. After drama class, Caitlin went over to Annabelle's house to discuss plans for the Veterans Thanksgiving celebration. Annabelle asked her mom to join them in the planning session. Okay, the first thing we have to do is find out who has a veteran in their family. But how are we going to do that? Annabelle asked. Maybe Mrs. Mitchell can send a letter home with all the students asking the parents. If they do have a family member who's a veteran, they can write their names down on that paper and return it to school, Mrs. Copeland suggested. Mrs. Copeland, you are awesome, said Caitlin. That's a great idea. Maybe you can type a letter up for us, Caitlin was excited. I think your teacher should type up the letter on the school letterhead so it's official. And she'll know exactly what to say, said Annabelle's mom. I'm just here to give you two some assistance when needed. Annabelle wrote the ideas in her notebook to show Mrs. Mitchell tomorrow. Okay, maybe we should have the students who have veterans in their families introduce them. I can't wait to introduce my grandpa to everyone, Annabelle said. Just make sure everything is short and sweet. No one likes long speeches, cautioned Mrs. Copeland. Maybe we could just say their first and last name and what department of the armed forces they served in. Then we can have the students read some short stories or poems they wrote, thanking the veterans for their service, Caitlin suggested. Annabelle and Caitlin were cooking with gas as they brainstormed good ideas together. Then the chorus can sing some patriotic songs. I have a whole list of them. Annabelle held up a sheet of paper. I also think Mrs. Mitchell or Mr. Jefferson will want to give some kind of welcome address before the introductions, Caitlin said, and Mrs. Copeland and Annabelle quickly agreed. Annabelle rearranged her notes to insert that item in her outline in its proper place. The planning session was going really well. After a while, they had all their thoughts and ideas down on paper. The next day, Annabelle and Caitlin went to school early to meet with Mrs. Mitchell and the other students in the planning group. Mrs. Mitchell didn't include the whole class because she always said that too many cooks spoil the soup, and less is more. Mrs. Mitchell was pleased at all the students' ideas. The next thing was to have a solid outline, which included welcome address, statement of purpose, introduction of veterans by students, stories and poems of thanks by students, patriotic songs sung by the Melville Chorus, distribution of special bookmarks created by students. Closing remarks, special pre-Thanksgiving lunch for all veterans. All the students in the entire school had to create special stories and poems about the veterans in the days that followed. As the meeting came to a close, Mrs. Mitchell thanked everyone for their participation, and then it was time for school to begin. Chapter 8 is finished. I have a question for you. What changes did Caitlin notice about Victoria during drama, and what were the changes attributed to? Discuss this with your friends.